science history major. And this subject matter was right up my alley. And the first quarter, I got an A. The second quarter, I got an A. The third quarter, I was in class, and this guy was obviously a red or a communist or something, socialist.
Yeah.
And he was, I knew he was, and we were dealing with the 20th century and something or other, I don't know. And he was telling everybody in the class that this is what happened, and I knew it was factually wrong.
Right.
So I put my hand up.
To educate him on the facts.
I said, you know, Professor, excuse me, but it didn't work that way, it was this way, and I was completely right. I quoted sources and so forth. He just glared at me, and I sat down. Well, when I come to get the grades at the end of the year, I get an incomplete in the course.
Oh, wow.
He gave me an incomplete. Like,
Wow.
Like I didn't take it. So I went to see him, he said, well, you know, Mr. Guyman, he said, if the rule book says that if you can't read a person's blue book, you don't have to grade it. And I couldn't read
Handwriting.
your handwriting in there. And I said, well, you read it. You gave me 2 A's in the first 2 quarters. And he said, well, that was 2 quarters ago. He said, I couldn't read it, so you got an incomplete. What was a significant course?
This is undergraduate or law school?
No, undergrad. So I went to the assistant dean. I said, look at this guy. He's absolutely right under the rules of the university. He's the master of his classroom. He can do anything he wants. I said, well, that's wrong. I said, I want to see the dean. So I get to the dean. So the dean says, well, let's have everybody here. So he gets the assistant dean and this professor and me, and we yakking around in there. And finally, I said, well, I'm right. He read it the first 2 quarters, and he had to read it for the 3rd quarter. And finally, he turned to me and he said, all right, Guyman. He said, will you take a B in the course? And I thought to myself, what the hell can I do? I mean, if I say no, he's going to give me an incomplete.
Right.
So I said, yeah, I'll be right up and take a B. So that's how it ended.
Wow.
But I never forgot it.
What
a system, huh?
Yeah. Wouldn't you like to go back and kick his ass?
Yeah. Well, he was a communist.
Yeah.
Oh, but we had in law school, we had an insane system. We had an insane system. You had, in law school, you had the current course exam, and we had a semester system. And then you had, as you advanced in law school, you had the comprehensive system. And 50% of your total grade for that semester was based upon the score you got in the comprehensive, and 50% on the current courses. And they didn't tell you, in the courses, they didn't say this is a contract question, or if you were in bills and notes, they didn't say this is a bills and note exam. They just gave you blank problems, and you'd have to figure out what the hell it was.
Right.
So, by the time you got to be a senior in law school, you had every course that you had ever studied in law school brought forward.
Oh, wow.
Plus the current stuff. Oh, God. So, the system got to, where we went to law school, Charlie and I graduated in the class of 56, I think it was. When we started, there were 400 students. And when we graduated, there was 46.
Oh my gosh.
They flunked out everybody.
Almost 90% gone, huh?
Yeah, the brutal
That's
system.
unbelievable.
This is the dean, was his first year under he'd just come there a year before. And this was the first year when we went there that he was using his new system.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to make this
Prestige
the
Law.
Harvard of the Middle West.
Wow.
He did all right.
Yeah.
He just flunked guys out left and right. That hall we were in, when I went back there after the first semester, 50% of the guys were back in their bags leaving.
Wow.
It's terrible.
Well, I think you knew. I think
It scared Charlie more than me.
Yeah.
He got like, I'm never leaving my room.
Yeah.
I'm gonna study. I gotta study. I can't keep going. He had notes and notebooks and paper. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well.
Oh yeah.
He was always a systems and an organization guy.
Oh yeah. Well, he had stuff you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
He had notebooks on notebooks.
Yeah. Now you, I think it was at Northwestern. You had one of your classmates committed suicide.
Oh, we had guys do that. That was not unusual.
Really? Wow.
We had guys jumping off buildings and everything. Yeah, crazy.
That's terrible. Wow.
I believe that happens a lot in some of these schools.
I think they try and hide it too.
They do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The University of Chicago is notorious. That's a bleak place though.
The University of Chicago?
Yeah.
Yet it has a tremendous reputation.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was going to college, or starting to go, it had a reputation of being, if you wanted to be a communist, you went there.
University of Chicago?
Oh yeah.
I got into the University of Chicago.
What?
I got into the University of Chicago.
Did you?
You didn't want me to go.
Yeah,
Well, it's funny you say that though, because their economics school.
it's number one, or it's very
Well,
close.
it's a very free market school. It's the opposite of communism.
So
So
they have a lot of Pulitzer Prize guys from there.
yeah.
But it was in my day. It was
It's
regarded.
called the Chicago School of Economics.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe that's a little island there, but I mean Barack Obama taught at Chicago, didn't he?
Not in the business school. In the law
No,
school.
he
No, yeah, law,
taught,
right. Constitutional law, I think.
Yeah.
Well, he was like an assistant professor of constitutional
Okay.
law, which meant nothing.
Okay.
But he
Hi, Dougie.
the school system when I was there, when I was going to schools, the school system was very funny. All Catholic guys went to Catholic high schools, and if they wanted to go on further, they went to Catholic universities or colleges.
Georgetown, Notre Dame.
Well, or there were a whole bunch, and there were a whole bunch of Catholic schools,
Yeah,
colleges,
yeah.
and they went there. And I hated St. George. That was the most depressing time in my life.
Where was this?
St. George High School,
Huh.
which was right behind St. Francis Hospital.
Okay. It's still there?
No, it was a Christian Brothers school. It was a beautiful school physically. And I didn't want to go there. And in order to go to, I was at St. Jerome's Grammar School. In order to go to Loyola Academy, you had to take an exam to get in the academy. Well, it was funny how the people got into the academy. They were all on Lakeshore Drive or the suburbs, all wealthy Irish Catholic kids.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I had a German name, and I lived in a parish that was not big shot. And my father wasn't a millionaire, so I took the exam. I didn't think it was that tough, and I got refused. They wouldn't let me in. So my dad went down and he said, no, he said, they won't let me in because I failed to pass the exam. And of course, I knew guys that were there, got in, they were dum-dums.
Right.
And they lived on Lakeshore Drive,
Right.
with an Irish name, and they go to Loyola Academy.
Right, right.
So I didn't get in. So my mother said, well, where are you going she hit the panic button. And she never figured it out, I don't think, in her whole life, that it was all who you were and not what the grades were.
Right, right.
And so they sent me to St. George, which was a blue-collar school. And you were nothing at St. George unless you were a football player. I mean, if you weren't a football player, you were trash. And of course, the kids from St. George came from everywhere, south side of Chicago. I mean, they were all blue-collar kids. And you could never really make friends because how the hell would you meet some guy from Highwood, Illinois, or Highwood, and be friends with? So I got there and we were assigned a home advisor. And he took a dislike to me immediately. And I had to stay with that son of a bitch for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And every morning we would go there, and it was religion. And he was a teacher. Every year, 4 years I had this guy. He hated me. And I don't think I ever got a grade above a C in religion.
Wow, yeah.
It was a C or whatever the hell it was. He and I just at the end, I hated the guy. It's funny, before he died, he and I got kind of friendly.
Huh.
Yeah, we ended up in Memphis. He was
Okay.
Memphis University, which was a Christian Brothers College.
Oh, really? Okay.
In Memphis. He was there. And he'd write me and say, you were such a good student. And I look at him, you son of a bitch.
Couldn't your grade reflect it then?
Yeah. We had a grade in what they call citizenship, which was what they thought you were going to be in life, whether you were a bad guy or a good guy or whatever. The first quarter, he gave me an F in citizenship.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he hated me. Well, anyway.
F. Wow, that's pretty harsh.
That's consistent with your mother saying that he was to be feared.
Yeah, but mom was afraid of you. Afraid's not the right word.
Yeah.
Afraid's not the right word. She
she didn't want to have much to do with me. When I came around, she'd start to drift off because she knew I was a fighter, and she could not take that.
Right, she used to say, "Yeah, you just didn't. You didn't mess with. I didn't mess with my brother Bob." And he said, and he had a butterfly collection. It was just so, and he had a stamp collection. It was just so, and you didn't get near any of that stuff. And
Who was that?
Uncle Bob.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, so she wasn't afraid of you. Let's just say that she respected your status as elder statesman.
In personal space.
Yeah, right.
But teachers, like St. George was physical corporal punishment. And I was beaten up almost every week.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the punishment was very unique. They had rulers that were like this. And you did something wrong or you didn't grade right, you have to put your hands on.
Oh man.
And they beat the hell out of your hands with these rulers.
Wow.
And then they were real bad. They were real bad in the front of the room, right by the teacher's desk. They had this box that was about this high, about that long. It was filled with these rocks. And you'd have to, the diamond. Get in the box. You have to put your hands behind your back and kneel facing the wall.
Oh my gosh.
These rocks for the whole hour.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I went through that. I still have. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
They were rough. They were a rough school.
Yeah. Yeah. Although we had when we were in Orange Park, Florida, they would they had paddles and they would spank you. It was a public school, but they
How long ago was that?
69 to 72.
When
So
did they outlaw the?
I don't know. This was did I already tell this story? It was so I think it was in '66 that the Supreme Court declared that thou shalt not pray in government school.
Thou shalt not what?
Pray in government school. And so this is after the Supreme Court's made their decision. And I didn't know any of this at the time, but every day at the start of first, second, and third grade, it's 1969 to 1972, we started the day, government school, with the Lord's Prayer and a New Testament Bible reading. And it was kind of like they were saying to the Supreme Court, okay, you've made your decision, now come enforce it. You know, it was just, you know.
Where this was in Florida?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know, people don't think of Florida as the South. But
Well, the northern part.
yes, absolutely. Northern Florida is
You go to
the old South.
Tallahassee, and it's,
Yep.
You know, I mean, a friend of mine has, well, my friend Clark, his wife's father was a prominent attorney in Tallahassee. So one of his friends owns like a bunch of ranches and shooting ranges up there.
Okay.
So we go to, Tallahassee, we go to the FSU football games, and then the next day we go shooting pheasants.
Yeah.
And up there, it's,
Yeah. That's good old boy country.
yeah, I mean, everybody
Really?
there goes to FSU or Alabama or Auburn or LSU.
Yeah.
They go to those sorts of schools. It's all SEC and FSU.
Yeah. Yeah.
And truly evolved, go to the University of Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's like the extent of it. It's, nobody considers, I mean, nobody there goes to Northwestern. I've never heard of it.
Right. Yeah. Right. The
I'll tell you this. When I was, and this was all the way until 1968, 67, the northern teams did not play in these bowl games, Cotton Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Orange Bowl, Gator Bowl and stuff. They didn't play there.
Uh-huh.
The reason they didn't play there was the northern teams had black players.
Oh, really?
And southern teams like Alabama and those places, they didn't have
Right.
black players.
Yeah. Yeah.
No black players.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't let. So only like a Cotton Bowl game,
Yeah.
only between.
Alabama and Florida.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I mean, and finally people said, "What the hell?" And then of course all that racial stuff came into being, and now all these schools. I mean, I don't think there's a white guy playing on any of these schools that have been
Right.
football anymore. They're all black.
Right.
In those days, there was a big distinction. And I remember Notre Dame, when I was in, right after I got out of law school, the University of Iowa, which was coached by a guy named Evashevsky, and he was the coach at Iowa, and they were the Big Ten champs. He had a black fullback that was a monster. He was the only black on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And we had no blacks. And they came to South Bend to play Notre Dame. And everybody said, "Oh, this black guy, nobody can tackle him, he's, and so forth." And there was a bunch of students from Notre Dame walking around the sidelines of the football field with signs. Why doesn't Notre Dame have black players?
Mm.
And it was like, it's already starting, and I mean, I could see it.
Right.
And of course, this guy gets in the game, and I mean, Notre Dame has some big, tough Irish and Italian players, and from the coal mines of Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah.
And they went in there. This guy was. He was sorry. He came up to Notre Dame. And he was distraught.
Right.
They hit him, and they kept hitting him.
Right.
And we won the game, of course. But the students wanted the black players.
Yeah.
And the praise, of course, was like, "Oh, I don't remember we had one black player in my law school. His name was Joe Bertrand. And I was a friend of him. He went to St. Elizabeth's High School, which was a very small Catholic high school on the south side of Chicago. And he was on the basketball team. And he was all everything, all state everything. He was a fantastic basketball player. And he went down to Notre Dame, and he was on the basketball team at Notre Dame. And he did pretty well. And I
played basketball with him, because I used to play a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and, you know, we would play, you know, in the Rodney gym and stuff. And I got to know him. He had gotten into the Notre Dame Law School, and we'd play basketball and stuff. And but the first semester came, and out he went.
Yeah.
They didn't give him any. They didn't do anything for him. And he
He should have filed a disparate impact lawsuit.
He later became city treasurer of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And I had a big party. You were there, Billy, when Notre Dame played Houston.
Like 78?
Well, Joe Montana they called it the Chicken Bowl game. Where
It was the 78, right?
Yeah.
I was very young.
Yeah, well,
It was in your basement, wasn't it?
no, I had a whole bunch of people. Your mother was not happy. But I invited all my Notre Dame football nuts. And I invited Joe Bertrand. And of course, he comes up in a chauffeur-driven Cadillac owned by the city of Chicago with his wife.
Oh, wow.
He's city treasurer. He comes in as a black man. Of course, Ann looks at him like, holy Christ, what is he? Is he the bartender or what the hell?
right, yeah.
And he came in there and he watched the game with me and we won. What was that last minute chaotic win that Montana threw his pass and this guy caught it in the end zone.
This is a college game?
Pardon?
This is a college game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He
wasn't in Notre Dame, Joe Montana.
Yeah, he went to Notre Dame.
I didn't know that.
He was a quarterback for us.
Gosh, that's embarrassing. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, a big timer.
Okay.
And he was in the Cotton Bowl and we beat Houston.
Did you know Joe Montana went to Notre Dame, Jennifer? Huh.
So anyway, I did not know him. I knew Paul Horning, but I didn't know Montana. And everybody was in that party. They thought we were going to lose. We were losing like by 30 points.
Right.
We came in and won by 31 to nothing, or 31 to 30 or something. But Joe Bertram, I'll never forget, he came up in a chauffeur-driven Cadillac with a driver. And he told the driver to sit in the car, wait for him. And it was a big Cadillac, big black Cadillac. He came in with his wife. And the poor guy, he got to be chairman of the board of some black bank on the south side. And the bank did a lot of finagling.
Right.
And when it went bankrupt. And he lost whatever he had in the bank. And he didn't run for city treasurer. He died 2 years later.
Oh, wow. How old?
This was 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Whatever. In 60s, 61.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Surprisingly enough, in Collier County, there are not many blacks around here.
Yeah, I am surprised that there's, of course, a lot of Hispanics
Yep.
and Cubans, and what I see that's very interesting is more Asians.
Yeah.
Than you would expect.
Surprising number of Muslims. Our next door neighbors are Muslim.
Yeah, and she said, I think she came over when she was.
Dr. Khan today.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I assume he's Muslim. I don't know. I shouldn't. I mean, he might not be.
I like him. You like him?
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, we have black people, obviously, but it's
And up in Lee
the
County,
South.
yeah.
It's not like you would expect.
In Lee County, though, there's a lot like that. What's that town up off near
Yeah.
Fort Myers?
Do we even have?
Lehigh
Have you seen a
Acres.
black family in the neighborhood, which I thought was kind of.
I think I saw. I think I've seen one or two blacks in the neighborhood.
I would have expected a decent percentage of the places to have it. I mean, it's just weird to
Give me
me.
water.
Even in Woodbury, Minnesota, we had more blacks
Yeah.
than we have
Very
here.
weird.
Thanks.
The
You gotta go get a haircut at some.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
Are you getting a haircut today?
Yeah.
I'll go with you.
Where do you go?
I'm gonna go to that pizza place. The
Pizza.
Vita or something or other.
The what?
It was
The Aveda Salon?
Oh, there's a barber shop. No.
Ask for, I go there, ask for,
I got Allie.
oh, you got Allie. Okay, then she's not. My mom goes to Carolyn and I go to Hannah, and they're both really good.
Well, that's probably a little too rich for my blood.
Oh, it's
What time do you
it's
have
way
to
too
be
rich
there,
for you.
Billy? What time is it?
The appointment's at 3.
You better leave.
Oh, you got an appointment? Okay, yeah. Well,
It'll
in the
take
event,
you
that's
no
too
more
that's
than
too
10
fancy for
minutes
my
to
blood.
get there. You're talking about where we ate dinner, right? Yeah, because that's where I go. I wish I would have known. I would have told you to ask for Hannah or Carolyn.
You're running it real short.
No, it's 3 o'clock. The appointment. She said it takes 10 minutes to get there. So
Literally, and that's, it might be, if it's at 3, you might want to leave maybe 15 minutes early because school gets out about that time, but, I mean, wouldn't you say?
Well, that's
10
where we
minutes?
ate the pizza, yeah.
But wouldn't you say 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I assume if you were 2 minutes late, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they're good, because Mom and I have been 1 or 2 minutes late occasionally, and they don't really blink an eye.
Have you noticed, by the way, traffic's getting heavier these days?
How much what?
how much a haircut is there?
Well, for women.
I can tell you how much it is for women. It ain't good.
It is not good. We pay $100,
You need more.
$800?
60.
But for men, it can't be that much, though.
Probably not, but I know it would be,
It's gotta be at least 30, 40 dollars.
oh, at least.
No, I think so.
And you have to do cash tip. They do not let you put tip on credit card there.
Well, that's weird.
They'll let you pay with a credit card.
Oh, that's so they're trying to avoid taxes?
Is that how they do that?
I would think.
Well,
Because
that's
they
part
say-
of it, but then the store itself doesn't want to pay the 3% service fee. So if you give them a $10 tip, then
Yeah, that must be it.
They
'Cause I
have to
told
pay
them
the-
You better get another 20 out of my.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say just for they'll have change for cash, but that's one thing I've gone in without cash and I felt so bad I had to leave and come back. And my hairstylist, I've gone to her for a year now, she's very nice about it, but I always feel horrible because that's part of what they get, their pay is based on their salary plus their tips and stuff. But I told her, I said, can you please talk to the owners and tell them to let us put, I said, it's so much easier, but you're right, it's probably the tax issue.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. The store doesn't want to pay commission on something they're not even getting.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, maybe you can take George there, maybe he can run in and get a haircut as long as you got one.
They're too rich for my blood.
He won't spend that kind of money on his hair at all. I mean, I can barely get him to spend $10. He's not happy that Mom and I go there, but I told him it's my choice and my hair.
I inherited that from Mom. She was pretty tight with a buck.
Well, I'm still hoping I get a phone call on my interview next week, so I'm taking anything with a chance. A bad haircut.
Right. Yeah.
Otherwise,
Is Charlie's bus been on time, like
let
right
it
at
grow.
2:28, or is it more after 2:30 that he gets up?
Yeah, he gets over there about 2:30.
Okay, I'm gonna go over because it's like 2:26 or something.
Oh yeah, you need to.
But sometimes I've gone over there and it's been 10 minutes late, but. Thanks for making that new appointment for him.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're moving to a new office then?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good, because I'd rather go to Pine Ridge than that location, because that one's kind of far down Immokalee.
Yeah, it was an unusual building too. I mean, you have to. It's all elevated a floor.
Did you find that since you graduated from the Air Force, that promotions and stuff were better for you than some guy that came out of NROTC?
I don't think so. I'd say
That
that.
was they would always say that about the Navy.
The wind is picking up a little, that little pumpkin on my stand flew out.
Oh really?
Yeah?
What you did, the one advantage you definitely had was that you were commissioned as a regular. I don't think this is true anymore, but you were commissioned as a regular Air Force officer. Whereas if you went through ROTC, you were commissioned as a reserve officer, and you kind of had to compete for your slot. So that was the advantage there. And I think, all things being equal, you were probably viewed a little bit better on day one, showing up at a job being an academy grad versus an ROTC. But then of course you had to stand on your own 2 feet. So there was probably some slight advantage, but I don't think it was huge.